What's up, everybody? What's going on? Today is July 7th, I believe, or it might be the 8th. I lied. Today is July 7th, 2020. I'm Rob Dunlap. Welcome to I'll Piss You Off Shortly. What's up, everyone? Thank you for locking in for another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly, the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond your normally sheltered safe zone. All right, now, these topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you and I feeling highly uncomfortable. We may not always agree and will more than likely have valued opinions. So with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster, but I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you've got the stamina and passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I'll piss you off shortly. Hope you guys like that intro. Hope you like that intro, Joe. I worked very hard on it. How you doing today, man?
I am great. That was an awesome intro, and I'm very excited for this podcast tonight.
Thank you. I'm super excited. I'm glad to be here. I feel it's like spooky hours to me. It's 9 o'clock. I feel like I don't have to be so like controlled, but at the same time, I can really kind of give our followers my all. So, it's going to be interesting. Super, super interesting.
It's a little later than I like to be up, but let's do this.
Hey,
this is great.
Let's have fun with it, man. So it's like I said, it's July 7th. For those that may be listening after the live showing, biggest thing, I guess we'll start with July 4th. How was your July 4th, I should say, Joe?
It was really good. We went to a family social distancing picnic.
Okay.
Mostly spent the day in the pool. It was just me and my kids in the pool. Nobody else swam. Everybody else was over by the food table. We came home. I had like 6 fireworks left over from last year. Shot them off. Ice cream sandwiches, bedtime. That was that.
Super. That sounds like a simple, but a standard COVID, 4th of July. I definitely will say on my end, we didn't do anything. It was very quiet, and I will say a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're not celebrating the 4th of July as Black people. We're not doing that." Honestly, cool. I agree with the sentiment. Just the 4th of July has never really been for me. It's always either been a day off, and then also at the same time, a 4-day weekend, especially when I was in the military. And then it's just a reason to have a cookout with my family members. But other than that, it still didn't feel the same though. It wasn't as busy. This year I stepped outside. My house literally is right in front of a main road, and the streets were dead, like super, super dead. So it was very interesting to see that. And then it didn't feel the same with everything going on. Like, what are we kind of celebrating? In the sense of everything. I know it's supposed to be Independence Day, and just the United States independence, but beyond that, we can't be so happy about independence if everybody, not to say everybody isn't free, because everybody is free, but there's so much chaos going in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll tell you too, to me it didn't feel like 4th of July in that I didn't see a lot of red, white, and blue.
Exactly.
And I think it is twofold. I think with all that's going on, culture-wise in this country, I think people don't feel like celebrating. On top of that, you've got, the health issues with COVID. But I didn't see a lot of flags over the past few days. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Same here. I mean, and I think even though I've weeded out a lot of my Facebook friends, I try and I think I have a diverse set of friends that are both liberal and conservative. And even on the conservative side, other than maybe, a share of, Independence Day or whatever, but like none of the crazy photos and everything else like that. And a lot of these people are believers that, not necessarily like COVID isn't real, but it's not as serious as, per se. So they're not necessarily pro-mask and everything like that. So yeah, it was just really just looking, other than hot as hell, just gloomy and dead.
Yeah, seriously.
But you mentioned the fireworks. I will say, usually we have the fireworks. The city has the fireworks over by our house by a big park. But I don't know about you guys where you're at, but my neighbors definitely put on a show. And when I say a
Oh yeah.
show, they've been put on a show all month long. I swear, I think our sky didn't stop lighting up to about 1 a.m. And me personally, as a veteran that's been through some shit, I didn't mind it. You know what I mean? I kind of took myself in the house at a certain time, but I didn't mind it. So
Nice.
I don't know. Has it been kind of loud and boisterous for the whole month of July with
Oh
fireworks?
yeah. It's been going on here for like a good solid month or so. All the Facebook groups in town are like going nuts about who's letting off all the fireworks there.
My
They
dog.
did, the local news just did a thing. I mean, this has been pretty common all around the state of Connecticut, at least, where people are setting off fireworks. It's funny. After I set off my 6 lamos, the guy across the street put on a fireworks show to be
Yes,
remembered. And
that's
about
awesome.
halfway through, my family enjoying it, I looked at my wife and I'm like, I'm going to call the cops. Screw this guy
Screw this guy. And it's
outdoing me.
exactly. It's not even because of the fireworks. It's just because you outdid me. You
Yeah.
can't come after me with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was it. I still kind of laugh, and I'm a dog lover. I have dogs of my own, but I still kind of laugh at the dog lovers that are just going kind of crazy. That are like, oh, my dog, my dog has PTSD. No, they're just barking because more than likely they probably enjoy that shit. My dog on my side is just like, and then just goes to sleep. Literally, big old English bulldog and slept through it all. So to each their own, I guess.
I feel like after the first one, the
Mhm.
element of surprise is right out the window when it comes to fireworks. I mean,
Super
that
good.
first one always gets me. Right after that, though, you can bang off 100. I'm fine.
Exactly. Super let
Yeah.
them all go off.
Right?
But it's super prideful. It's one of those things that I do say I take joys in. And what's more American, I guess, than letting off fireworks, other than having pride. But you know what is though, now that I think about it, the privilege to carry your country's entitled behavior and beliefs to other countries. And you might not know what I'm talking about. Um, but there's a situation where somebody was trying to impose said entitlements while being racist and a bigot to the descendants of a country that they've never been from, and that country is Canada. So before we get into that video and what I'm talking about, let me break into our Barney Style, a little segment which I brought into just to break down simple phrases and terms that I think are pertinent to every episode for anybody that is just getting started with us. So we'll go with into white fear. That's going to be one of our words today. And Joe, do you get offended when I say white fear?
I don't know.
Okay.
I understand it, and I know it's an anxious thing for a lot of white people, and it's um I just to me, I think it's time to like have those unpleasant conversations that you didn't want to have. It's time.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So I just want to make sure we're not getting deep into the waters yet, and also have everybody also understand that it's not coming from a hateful place. Because let's go with let me go ahead and define it. And these are my definitions. These are definitions that I accumulated from different sources that I've learned and grew and then kind of put together. So white fear, the unpleasant emotion caused by no longer feeling dominant and or threatened in a shared space or ethnicity strictly. Oh, I'm sorry. In a shared space of other ethnicities strictly due to their prejudice, bias, or cultural ignorance. Give you an example, quick example, Missouri couple. And also in fact, the fear of in fact, if people don't know what I'm talking about, the not effing around coalition and the hysteria behind that in Stone Mountain, Georgia, but I'll talk about that later. And then the next word that I want to get into is hypersensitivity. And that is, black hypersensitivity. Once again, a word that I'm putting up there. Undesirable reaction due to human error, which can sometimes lead to false representation and accusation, produced from inhuman treatment and social injustice trauma endured by a race for an extensive time period. All right. So with those definitions being said, and kind of as a breakdown with black hypersensitivity, kind of an example, quickly, when somebody goes, matter of fact, we were, as I told you earlier, before we did the show, I went to go eat where did we go? We went out to West Hartford, Blueback Square area. And if people aren't familiar with Blueback Square in Connecticut, that's a very wealthier town than where I'm from. And
It's a little posh.
yeah, a little posh, a little posh. But it's very nice restaurants and everything. But a lot of the sentiment is a lot of black people say you go to West Hartford, and then around West Hartford you have Farmington and Avon. If you do your research, it's the same posh area, but it's not. It's predominantly white. And that hypersensitivity is you actually go in those places, you actually drive there. I would never go there. Some of those things, black hypersensitivity, something that we have to get away from. But, breaking into that, not sticking with that, let's go into prime examples, and we're going to go into what initially started the conversation. Let's cut to the video of Toronto.
Taxes, I pay for this park, and I don't like to see people wrecking it.
We're not wrecking it. There's literally so many berries everywhere.
Oh my God, we're not wrecking it! Oh, there's so many berries out here. There's so many berries.
I cannot.
Complete twits.
We're twits. You're the one coming up to two young girls, getting
Young
mad
girls,
at them for
yeah,
picking
you're
berries.
like 6 years old.
6 years old?
Because we wanted to eat some berries.
I'm saying, eat all the berries you want, just don't take the bush with you.
It's not the bush. It's literally it's a tiny
personally?
branch of berries.
Why don't you mind your own business? Why don't you mind your own business?
You know, that is the fucking rudest thing you've said to me.
You decided
Go
to come
back
up
where
to
you
us.
came from if you want to use language like that.
Why don't you go back to where you came from, you fucking colonizer?
Are you First Nations?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't call me a colonizer.
You're a colonizer. You're
where did you come from?
Yeah, where did you come from?
Where did you come from? I'm actually curious.
The
Where'd you
U.S.
U.S.?
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're not even
you're
from
not
here.
Canadian either.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, so but we are Canadian too. I was born here.
I was born here too.
Okay.
Were you born here?
No.
Okay,
Oh.
so this is actually like I was born here and you're not even born
My
here, and you're
grandparents
telling me to
were?
go
Doesn't
back
matter,
to
you're
wherever.
telling us to go
Your
back to-
grandparents weren't either. That's the thing. Were your grandparents born here? No.
Look, she's smiling. She wants to
I
get a reaction out of
know.
us.
This is so
Yeah,
hilarious.
I am getting a reaction out of you too,
Yeah,
aren't I?
oh my God, I'm so sorry that you're
God.
not
Start with a are you a Trump supporter thing, like that has anything
Because you're
to do
you're
with
just
it.
acting like it. Like you're just acting like a very uneducated person right now.
Oh, I'm acting like an uneducated
Yeah, like
person.
just why don't you just mind your own business? Like if you want to eat our
Because I just
berries
said I
and pick
don't
the
think it
branches.
is my
Okay, you're
business.
still
When I
standing
see
here.
people
Like I just.
vandalizing public
Oh my
property.
God, this is not public property. It's
Oh
literally
my
nature.
God, this is
like we're
what's going
in
on.
nature. This is so funny.
No, you're not going to take a picture of me.
I'm not taking a
Oh,
picture
girl,
of
I
you.
already
Walk
got-
away.
Okay,
Okay, let's go. Okay, we're just trying to look the map.
You know
honestly.
what a good answer would have been? Okay, we won't do it next time.
No.
And then
Okay,
just
no,
ignore
but we
it.
will do it
business.
next
It's
time
none
though.
of
They're
your
just
business.
berries. Like we
None
will.
of your
Just
business
ignore it.
whatsoever.
I really don't like the none of your business.
It is
response.
none of your business.
Yeah,
You're
like, it
walking up to
genuinely
two
isn't.
complete strangers.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you are.
And telling us
Walk
to go back to
away.
our country. You're actually insane. Telling us to go back to our country. Whoa.
No, I didn't mean that.
Oh, you
Oh,
didn't mean it.
so
Why
why'd
did
you say it?
Let's go. Fuck that.
Jesus.
Man, so this Karen, and if you feel offended by the word Karen, go F yourself, okay? This Karen, Karen, you know what? Yes, you're Karen because you're from the US, and once again trying to take your entitlements over picking berries. Guess what? I went picking berries today, Karen. I went picking berries. I went blueberry picking and raspberry picking with my family. And guess what, Karen? All the other white people that were over there at Lyman Orchards today, they were pulling branches and taking them. So what the hell is your freaking problem, Karen? Like that, Joe, I don't know. I don't know.
I have a rule. It's a rule I teach to my children, to my students, to my employees. It's a very simple rule, and it should be the one commandment. If there was a church of me, it'd be the one commandment, and the rule would be simply, don't be an asshole.
Simple as that. Don't
Always
be an
err
asshole.
on the side of not being an asshole, and things will go well in life, and you'll get along with people.
I
I don't think that's hard.
super simple things. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Like it's the same as telling if somebody kicked a rock and me complaining, you just move that. Like pick your battles carefully, people. These two young women, I don't care if they were digging a tree out the ground. First and foremost, that's not your country. Once again, here we go. European people, what the caucasity to tell me to go back and then to sit there. Oh, I didn't mean that. No, don't backtrack on it now. So my people, white fear. All right. We're going to go to we're going to even off the playing board a little bit. We're going to go to black hypersensitivity. I'm going to say right now, free Karen. I don't know her name, and I definitely meant to get her name, but free Karen, because this, you'll see, this definitely was over hypersensitivity.
To violate a 15-year-old.
No, I'm asking a question. She's a child.
She bumped into me when
So she did something wrong. She needs to apologize.
This ignorant woman bumped into a 15-year-old.
Correct?
And you're on camera.
Okay.
You're feeling threatened.
Okay, well, go in.
No, Mom.
I got this.
You're blocking me from getting in my car.
No, we weren't. No, we weren't. No, we weren't. You're ignorant.
Go ahead, call them.
No, we will. But you're not going to sit there and violate a 15-year-old.
She's ignorant.
Do it, bitch. Do it. Go ahead. Do it. I want you to
Call
do
the
something.
police.
She's very ignorant.
Dumbass bitch. Yeah, I said it. You say something, I'll beat your white ass. Yeah, oh, I will. Do something. Please put your
Do
motherfucking
something.
hands up.
Do something.
Please.
Who the fuck do you think you guys
Who do you
are?
think
Who
you
do you
are?
and your wife think you are?
You calling her name?
yeah,
She did nothing to you.
Yeah,
I didn't. I didn't.
No,
you didn't. You're very racist and ignorant.
You're racist because you're calling
No,
her
you
name.
bumped it. She bumped into me.
Why would you bump into
You
her?
cannot just walk
Why would
around
you
calling
bump
white
her? Why
people
would you bump her?
racist. This is not that
Why
type
would
of
you
world.
bump her?
White people
Why
are
would you
racist.
bump her?
No one's
Why
racist.
would you bump her?
I
Why
care
did you
about
say
you.
sorry?
I care
Why
about
did you say sorry?
And I'm sorry if you
Why
had an
did you say
incident
sorry?
that has made
If you
someone
bumped
make
into
you
her,
feel
why
like
did you
that.
say sorry?
No one is racist.
If you didn't do
I'm
anything, why
sorry
would
if
you do
you
that?
had something like that happen.
Ignorant. Ignorant. Very. Mom, watch.
Get the fuck away from me!
You don't get on her face.
You better get on my fucking right now. Get away.
Get the fuck back.
Get the fuck away. Get the fuck away. Are you gonna hit? You gonna shoot me?
Get the fuck away.
Oh.
Get away. Call the cops right now. Call them.
Oh.
Call the cops.
Get the fuck away.
Call the cops.
Get away.
She got the gun on me.
Call them
Hit me
now.
with the car. Call them. I'm telling. Get the
Call the cops.
Get the license plate.
Get
Get the license plate now. Cause you were never about to hit me with the damn
Don't
car.
you fucking know.
All right, listen up, people. Black people, my people. We have to stop antagonizing people. We have to stop antagging MFers, right? I know it's past 9, but I can't go crazy. We got to stop antagonizing MFers. This lady has apologized. I get it. I have looked both ways. No matter the situation, she has apologized. She has sympathized. And she has gotten in her way. As a husband, I'm not even going to be mad that he came out and was like, who the F are you talking to? Because guess what? As black people, that's the first thing out of our mouths. Who the F you talking to, right? So we got to keep that same energy. And just because somebody's white does not mean that they're after us. She actually said, I cared for you. So listen up. You can't, and my biggest question is, where were the other adults? Because there were other adults, and from the story, from what I hear, that was a family member or a cousin, and there was a mother as well as a 15-year-old, and then I guess the 15-year-old's grandmother. Too many adults to sit there and say, stop. It's been handled. It's been apologized for. She got in the car. The husband gets in the car. Do not go back behind somebody's car to take a picture after it's already been handled just to sit there and call somebody a racist ass Karen. That is inappropriate. That's ignorant as hell. And yes, that's being racist. That's definitely bearing into the stereotypes. So yes, that is black hypersensitivity. We've got to stop. And then even then, I can't remember if I shared it, but I definitely looked into it. And as I saw the video, somebody that I go not back and forth with on Facebook in a negative way, but we share a lot of similar beliefs, but she's black as well. And she's posted that full video. And after that, I said, yeah, no, she's not wrong. Now, what I will say is, was it necessary to pull out your weapon? I'm pro 2A. I'm a firm believer. If I'm pulling out my firearm, I am firing it. That is not my, you know what I mean, to show you, If I pull it out, I have every intention, especially if I rack it. If I rack it, that thing's going off. So, with that being said, was it necessary to put one in the chamber? No. Just get in your car. She shouldn't even came back out, honestly. But am I mad at her? No. Because if you hit somebody, physically assault somebody's vehicle, now that's intent. And I can't be mad at it. And it was proper handling. That could have went so many different ways. But from what I've seen, she had all the knowledge and the safety to do it right and justify it. So I don't know exactly what her charges are. Maybe you might know more into it. But what do you think, Joe?
That whole thing was absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are hypersensitive, period.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people are out there looking for confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who are looking to be offended. There are people who are just kind of hoping it happens just to see what they'll do. I can't even imagine, and you know me, I'm a very vocal guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one to hold back how I feel. I would never do any of the things I've seen in any of these insane videos over the last 6 months. I don't understand it at all.
You know, it's weird, you know, with that. I don't see it. When I say it's weird because a lot of people are like, racism isn't real and everything else like that. But at the same time, we have to really start realizing that it's not all racism. It's just pure ignorance. Black people can be super fucking ignorant, super effing ignorant. I'm sorry. So to see this kind of video, I'm glad it kind of puts it at a brighter light. And I'm glad that other people have kind of said, you know what, looking at the times, holding the other person accountable, let's go ahead and free Karen. Karen wasn't wrong. Definitely a hypersensitive moment. But going on with that, what doesn't surprise me is this picture right here. We're just supposed to picture up, and it is a picture of a KKK advertisement on a truck. I don't know. Do we have that? Did I send you that one?
You did. My apologies. I didn't realize that was part of this bit. And
oh no, it's fine.
I dropped the ball. I didn't really want to download that on my computer, Rob. That's how
I got you. So
absolutely horrible it is.
So I don't blame you, Joe. So what it was I'll explain to everybody. It is a picture of in Georgia of a tow truck, and it has matter of fact, I'll read it out. Because I'm Black and I can do that. And yes, I kind of have a bias of that. It says, we are the best banking, attorney, insurance. And in the middle, it has the Nazi flag, 2 hoods that say KKK, the Confederate flag to the right of it. And then it says in big black words under it, the N-word, 2 G's, ERS. All right. And it also says under that, we also may have Hillsborough, we also have many Hillsborough County judges in our pockets. And this is a big, I'd probably say 10 by 5 advertisement banner behind a tow truck that looks, you know, a piece of KKK kajunk. So
that thing's at least 5 feet high. That's a giant sign.
So, matter of fact, I will put it on the Facebook page and the Instagram page, and I'll piss you off shortly so you guys can see that, and then we'll talk about it in the comments there. All right. So then the next thing we're gonna go to is when another simple example of white fear. That's where I was going with that picture before we go to that. A simple white fear was there because they had to do all that, and then now with INFAC, not effing around coalition, a all Black militia group. Yes. I meant to send the video, but it's all right. I love it. Talk that ish. Talk it. All y'all KKK members in Stone Mountain. That's where I ran into my KKK situation, and they're all PUSSYs, and I don't mean that in a sexual manner. I mean that in an ego manner. They're really cowards. So I'm so glad NFAC, if you guys were in Connecticut, I would definitely love to have a meeting with you. That's something we could talk about later. Not necessarily say I agree with all your agenda, but appreciate y'all brothers and sisters for doing what y'all did on July 4th. So going back to kind of too woke versus not too woke with Black hypersensitivity. Let's put that up, Joe. So what we're seeing here is a video of a young protester going ahead and having an altercation with a white business owner. This white business owner apparently has just purchased this video, and unfortunately we don't have the audio, but I have watched this plenty of times just to kind of really thoroughly process this. So the family the husband and wife has purchased this building, older building that a sign hasn't been up there for years. He's trying to tell the young gentleman that, hey, I'm taking these signs down because I literally just purchased this and I'm trying to clean this up. I support I support you guys. I understand, but I just right now, this is my first time coming here into my building after purchasing this. Like, we literally just signed the papers. I want to get through my door. Can I get through my door? I'll take the sign off. You know what I'm saying? But this young guy on the left, as you guys kind of see, anybody that's not watching, there's a young protester on the left and a camera guy that's just blatantly just giving him shit about, the signs and him taking the signs down, and they're cooperating with these guys, so it's just like, we have to stop. I understand. And Black hypersensitivity, this is something that let's not get it twisted, has been embedded into us for decades, for centuries, right? We didn't just grow into this. This is something that we've had to deal with for years and still are dealing with. But for us to grow as a ethnicity, as a culture, as a race, Black people, I say this, African Americans, we have to learn how to stop and analyze and realize that everybody's not against us. Everybody, just because somebody's white doesn't mean that they're against us. And something that triggered me, not necessarily triggered me, but it hurt me, because one of my brothers, and I say my brother Chris, he's my best friend. Me and him have stood, when I say stood back to back, me and him have stood back to back and made sure we have went home together. We lived together. We were roommates for years. And he's white. And me and him were talking on the phone, as we usually do. We try and get on the phone. And he said, bro, I'm scared that my daughter is going to go to school and get assaulted just for being white. And normally I'll tell you this, I would have laughed that off. I definitely would have laughed that off, right? And Chris, I see your comment. Love you too, bro. If you guys are watching, you can see Chris right there. He just commented, but I had to take that in because it's so true, because I know my niece. And when I say my niece, yes, she's white, but that's my niece. I know my niece, and I know that she doesn't have a hateful bone in her body. So what I went to proceed to tell my brother Chris was just ways to empower her, because and a lot of that was for her to, one, have accountability. Make sure you have that accountability. Make sure you have that accountability to know who to have around your circle. So if you have those people that are not saying the right things or just being joking, that are borderline, get those people out of your way, because that's going to show the bigger picture that everybody else, whether they're Black, white, whatever, the Black, white, Indonesian, whatever the case may be, that you don't accept that kind of things. And then at the same time, if you see something, say something. Not saying you have to be superpowers. And this doesn't just go for her. This just goes for anybody that wants to be an ally, in my eyes. If you see something, you say something. And meaning by that, you don't have to be Superman, Superwoman, but especially at her as a high schooler, go make sure you tell a teacher. And then confront whoever you saw, maybe if you can, on a personal level, and in a way that you know how to. But if you feel like you can't, then just leave it at that. But make sure you do say something and don't let it just build up. And I know she has that mental capacity too. And she has, you know what I'm saying? And she has the love in her heart to do that. But let's face it, she's a white girl in Georgia. Her friends are going to say and be ignorant to some things. But those friends that decide to grow with you and respect your decisions, those are the ones that are that are going to stick for you. And those are the ones that you want to stick around with. So, anybody that's listening that has children of that nature, we can definitely dig into that. And I'm sorry I got on a tangent, Joe, but it really touched me when I see these kind of things, because I'm very pro-Black. I'm Black AF. I tell people all the time, but I have a lot of white counterparts. I grew up understanding that it doesn't matter. Skin doesn't matter. So yes, it bothers me with race and everything else like that, but more than likely I need Black hypersensitivity to die down. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I just hate how quick we react sometimes. I hate, you know what I'm saying? We really have to learn how to process and analyze and just dial back, sorry for getting on that tangent. Anything from you?
It's funny, almost watching that video, you almost get the sense of a young man who is trying to bring attention, and he's almost creating a scenario there, right? I mean, the white couple try to do everything they could to appease those guys.
Yes.
I think it's important that people sort of. I think the thing that's done our culture in the worst over the last 30 years is this idea that you have to live and die by disrespect.
Exactly.
Like if somebody disrespects you, I got to go shoot them. There's no other way, and then you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. It's not a good plan. It's not well thought out, but it's something that's ingrained in young people that like the worst thing that could happen is disrespect. And I think when you bring race into it, I think now you're just adding more fuel to the fire. But I think a lot of the times we're not listening, and we take some of the stupidest disrespect. I mean, again, look at Aaron Hernandez, a prime example. Got bumped into and then had to go and shoot the guy and his buddy.
Exactly.
I mean, that's machismo to the max, and we need to like cool it.
The male ego. I mean, especially with that. I mean, and not just the male ego, the human ego. You know, we've gotten so used, and I'm glad I've calmed down, but I used to be so defensive. And for what? A lot of times I had to learn that, you know, just really just calm down and really assess everything. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that actually had to do with a lot that helped me was music, believe it or not. I don't know. I know it sounds so weird, but like, and when I say music, I used to be a very heavy R&B person, but music going into different genres, especially, helped me kind of learn about different. So like if you look at R&B and you look at country to me is literally like the white R&B, because it's that soul. And when I say soul, anybody can have soul. It's not a black thing, or, you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a black thing, but anybody. And when I say soul, that deep, you feel it. When somebody sings something, when they say it, when those words, you feel it. So digging into country when I was younger, matter of fact, the Dixie Chicks, and I know they've definitely just changed their names to the Chicks, other than the chick that I had a crush on at the time, loving the Dixie Chicks. But I learned a lot more about like kind of the South and kind of the heritage of the South. And kind of like a little sidebar real quick, there was a picture of me that I had took a couple years back. Remember when I can't remember what it was, but when the Confederate flag started really being an issue, and this had to be maybe 2015, 16, I can't remember exactly what it was. I took a picture right next to it, you know, giving a middle finger, because a flag doesn't define me. And that was the process of the flag. And I remember me just liking the Dixie Chicks, and we're like, oh, the Dixie Chicks, they have that flag, not really understanding. So, and it warms me to know that they actually changed their names to the Chicks, kind of in that movement to get away with, you know, that kind of legacy or history. And speaking of go ahead. You look like you want to say.
Yeah, you know, country music to me is the country music of music. It's just that bad. I've always been a person. I'll listen to anything, literally anything,
but country.
Yeah, I just can't do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I got some homework for you after, even with this. There's an artist called RMR, short for Rumor. He's like a country trap. So like if you really think of like rap kind of, but like with a country little vibe. Actually, you don't listen to country. I was gonna say, if you ever heard a Rascal Flatts song, don't know which song it is, but they flipped it, and it's super. It's called a Rascal.
I'm unfortunately aware of Rascal Flatts.
Okay,
I actually saw them in concert once. Not by choice, and I didn't pay to go.
Well, look them up, RMR Rascal. I love that song. And speaking of songs, kind of what I've been keeping in rotation to keep me sane through all of this, as everybody tells me I need to, and the doctors tell me I need to relax. I guess I'll start with the Chicks. They have something new called March, and I think it's super dope. It's a song that's really getting into their pro movement, pro-woman movement, as they've always been, but then also getting into the Black Lives Matter. And of course, once again, they wouldn't be the Chicks without dumping on Donald Trumpito. My next one is going to be Pop Smoke, Got It On Me. RIP to Pop Smoke. For those that don't know who Pop Smoke is, he definitely was coming up into the hip hop scene, the rap culture under the drill scene. Definitely look him up. Pop Smoke was like 50 Cents and DMX put together, Joe.
I don't know Pop Smoke, I'll be honest, but
Mhm.
I do like both of those guys. I definitely want to check that out.
So yeah, like if you ever need something to get you going, and this song got it on me. And matter of fact, I'm gonna use that for a Barney Style as well. Got it on me. That got it on me. When somebody says I got it on me, that means I'm holding. I got that thing on me, Joe. I got the gun. You know what I'm saying? So what happened? I heard this Pop Smoke. And let me preface this a little bit. Pop Smoke, unfortunately, was passed away and murdered. So it's kind of one of those teeter-totter things that you kind of like. It hurtens me to listen to a song where he's talking about I got it on me, and then he was murdered, and which is a whole nother thing, black on black violence. Hey, Victoria, get with the woo. She be outside with it. So anyways, but unfortunately, so Pop Smoke got it on me. I felt this because I'm a carrier, super pro 2A, and then like 4th of July when I saw NFAC going out there, I heard this. I said, as a black man, I got it on me. So I don't know. But then to kind of mellow it down, one of my favorite R&B singers that I have on my rotation right now is Kalani, Serial Lover. I love this song. It really brings me back to when I was young, dumb, and full of ignorance. We'll say.
All sorts of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, but Serial Lover, like I was young. I didn't know where I wanted to be. I'm so thankful for the relationship I'm in now. Such a foundation and guidance. I've like really got me focused, right? But now it just brought me back to how much it is to be a serial lover and feel good. And Kalani, oh my God, her voice is so authentic and genuine. Like she makes me just fall in love with R&B again. So definitely
Is that her?
Yes, that is all of Kalani. And you know, it's crazy, before she switched her appearance and style to this, and I'm respecting women. I'm respecting women. She was very tomboyish, but she's just so beautiful. If you listen to her interviews and stuff like that, just her mentality, she's very open spirited and just an artist, and she's just so beautiful. So beautiful. But anyways, away from Kalani, we'll go to a throwback 2002. If you don't know this song, Joe, and I shouldn't say this because I don't want to blame you, but throw it up. MFers, throw it up. Throw it up, throw it up. All right, so this song, when this
Wait, are you asking me if I know Little John? Ask me if I know Little John.
Do you know Lil Jon?
Yeah.
Of
course I do.
So like this song right here is so deep bass heavy, and this brings me back to Hinesville, Georgia, when I used to sit in the club, Bo Mays, when I little known fact about me, I had a very interesting strip club phase. And when I say that, it wasn't like your typical I'm going there to be a creep and spend money, but like that was my sanctuary. Like I went there to watch basketball and like literally just chill with strippers. It was the dopest experience. But like this song would come on and like throw it up, you just felt like the man in there, you know what I'm saying? And then you got everybody else throwing ones, and just the energy, that excitement. I came across this. I was getting back into BMX and just kind of, you know what I mean, with my son, and I had the music going on. It just kind of brought me back to that hype moment. But yeah, so we'll kind of dig into that. I'm not going to try and just go past that stripper thing either. I know people are like, well, you're not going to just go buy that. We'll talk about that in further episodes, you know. But anyways, and then kind of my last but not least, my 2007 Fall Out Boy, Thanks for the Memories. Remember MySpace?
Yeah.
So my name from MySpace, I remember very, very, very heavily used to be Mr. AE. Do you remember what do you think you can guess what AE stands for or stood for?
Oh, Mr. AE.
Don't overthink it.
Nah.
Mr. American Ego. At this time, I was dating. Damn, I don't want to say her name like that, but I was dating SL, we'll put it that way. I was dating SL, and she turned me like I was the biggest thug white boy, and we're like super like hardcore, but like everything American Eagle. Like we were young, and her mom had an American Eagle credit card, and she was like, "Yeah, you can just get whatever you want." So like literally, I would be in like North End of Hartford, American Eagled out. So hanging out, getting some weed and American Eagle. So and Fallout Boy, thanks for the memories. Definitely, I love Fallout Boy. I have a very strong, like, I don't know if they're like rock or whatever they consider like that. John Fallout Boy. Now I can't think of everybody, but anyways, but that kind of not emo, but that Fallout Boy definitely is the one. But thanks for the memories. That breakdown, one night and one. I'm not gonna start singing, but yeah, I started thinking about that. That's been in my playlist as well.
Ask me if I like Fallout Boy.
Do you like our Fallout Boy?
I'm white. Come on.
we got to hit a concert.
It's a no-brainer.
We got to hit a concert.
Yeah.
I promise you.
That album came out, matter of fact, while I was divorcing my first wife, and it couldn't have done any more for me. It was amazing.
Primo, that's
a great album for that. Yeah.
See, this is gonna be fun then. You know, I think I'm gonna have to ask you a couple little what's on your playlist next week. And an honorable mention, real quick. West Side Gun. He has a new album. He's very, when you think of 90s rap, that rugged Wu-Tang, West Side Gun. Check him out if you really like that kind of Wu-Tang boom bap, street gritty style rap. West Side Gun put out another project. So but kind of going back into all those and those memories, a memory that I really wished was come back to true. I don't know if you partake, but these cannabis prices got to go fucking down, Joe. They have to go down. As you guys can see, I'm sporting the sign this week. But what got me thinking about that is before I got out the military, I had some issues with behavioral health, and my mental health wasn't there. Anger, anxiety, depression, PTSD, still going through that, now, but I was super medicated. Super medicated, and it was super disgusting. Like I just was out of it, couldn't really focus on anything, and I just felt just slow and dumb. And then here we go. I guess I can say it now. I don't think they'll ever like get me for it, but I got off the piss test, the urinalysis, and I started smoking marijuana again after like 10 years, and literally coming off like cold turkey with the pills about 3 weeks. I was like, so super helpful. Get a medical card. Sometimes the dispensaries are super priced. Sometimes I go to my other guy. Both of these guys need to stop talking to each other because I'm sick of paying almost $50 for a damn eighth. This is sick. And I don't even, and I don't pay eighths. I don't buy eighths. I'm not an eighths guy. So that means everything else kind of, and the thing is, like, I'm used to like when you buy more quantity, the price should kind of go down.
Yeah, that's generally how you buy in bulk.
It's not that wholesale theory isn't there anymore. So I think I'll have to start growing my own. Yeah.
Wait a minute. At the dispensary, I could understand that, right? I mean, I would think like the guy on the street would be like, I'll still give you a bulk deal.
You know what it is? I think I figured it out because a couple of my guys, they're packaging everything now. So you get a nice little freaking colorful package printed on, which I need to figure out how they're printing these things, because obviously this is the new wave. So I need to start making some money printing these bags, right? But I'm sick. I don't want to be paying for the cost of this bag. Just throw it back into a little snack bag and give it to me that way. I don't need to know that this is the Obama Kush or the Trumpito craze. I don't care. Get them off the packaging. Go back to plastic bags, and I'll be happy.
I hate that it's got names. I don't care what the name of it is.
And they're all just making them up now. Hey, man, I don't even care. Does it help me? Will I go to sleep? Will I be high off my ass? Okay, perfect. That's all that matters.
American Blue Dreamers, some nonsense. I saw something. What is that? What is that? Dude, I remember in college, I remember the first time somebody tried to give me that nonsense. This guy was like trying to charge me a little bit more, and he was like, it's the BCs. And I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He was like, British Columbia. And I was like, is there a tariff? I don't understand. Why is there extra because it's from Canada? How does that work?
Oh, and I hear that all the time. Oh, it's from Cali. It's from Cali. Dude, I'm sorry. Mass has some fire weed. Cali, you know what I'm saying? Stop using Cali as a tagline and whatever else. So I don't know. I'm gonna start growing because if I'm definitely not going to keep buying crazy prices, and I'm not going to keep going to the dispensary if they're like $60 an eighth now. And I'm definitely not going back to pills because the pills definitely messed me up, and it proved that the military didn't care about me. So I got to take care of my body the best way. And honestly, going through the hospital has probably improved my theory on how strong cannabis makes you, because they swear I have the body, well, the healthy body of a LeBron James. Swish. But other than that, the military definitely didn't care about me, so I'm definitely not going back on those pills. And it seems that the military doesn't seem to care about their soldiers, as we see. Rest in peace to Vanessa Guillen, and condolences to her. Matter of fact, let's talk about Vanessa, and we're gonna use Sharp as a Barney Style reference for this segment. Sharp is the Army's sexual harassment, assault, response, and prevention program. For everybody that doesn't know about Vanessa Guillen, she unfortunately had been gone missing for some time. What everybody what the media and the Army considered AWOL. If people don't understand, if people don't know what AWOL means, it means absent without leave. Joe, do you understand the parameters of AWOL?
Yeah, you have to report like on base, right, at a certain time every day, and if not, then you're AWOL.
Yeah. So pretty much, if every day we have what we call the horn, and that's morning formation, 6:30. No, I'm sorry. So 6:30 is PT formation. You have that, but then work call is usually about 8:39, if I remember, 8:30 between 9 in the morning. And then that's where, the first sergeant usually calls everybody to, formation to begin the workday. If somebody's not there, they're called FTR, failure to report. And then at that point, the sergeant will be will be doing everything they can to get a hold of that soldier and contacting that soldier. Within 24-hour period, if that soldier has not been found, they are then considered AWOL. Within that 24-hour period of time, though, it is that sergeant, that first line supervisor's primary job to locate that soldier. So let's talk about how her unit failed her and how the Army failed her, if you don't mind, Joe, because I definitely know that there's going to be a lot of people, active and veterans, that probably are going to get upset. And honestly, this definitely needs to be talked about, right? So Vanessa's unit failed her because, one, the sergeant that was her first line supervisor that was supposed to do those checks was apparently the person that murdered her and offed himself like a coward. All right. Vanessa went missing for some time. They just considered her AWOL. She was stationed at Fort Hood. If anybody knows anything about Fort Hood has a nasty history in the military overall. We're not going to get too in depth with it, but nasty ass history. If anybody isn't familiar with Fort Hood, it's in Killeen, Texas, where Killeen still is for kill, Kill. That's the first part of Killeen, EEN, each and every N word.
Whoa.
So that's what the abbreviation for Killeen is very known for in Killeen, Texas, home of Fort Hood. Not to mention many of racial wars and everything else in
Wait,
Fort
who's
Hood.
Fort Hood named after?
Fort Hood.
Sounds like the KKK.
We were just
figuring stuff out here, Rob.
They're going to get me. They're going to get me. So Fort Hood was named, and I'm not even going to speak his name, but was named after somebody very, very, very prominently known in American history, racist. Look up who Fort Hood was under, and I can't remember their full name exactly, so I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. But very known racist and Confederate, I believe Confederate Army. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly, so I'm not gonna lie. But known racist, known Confederate Army person. So F him, F Fort Hood, and anybody that really knows Hood sucks. Hood is trash. Like literally when you go to Hood, it's nothing but open space training area. We went there to go train and it was just hot, boring, and super trash. But anyways, back to Vanessa because I don't want to take this upon her. Her unit failed her because they did not put all hands on deck. I can name 5 things right now, Joe, that if a unit would have found out within 5 minutes that it went missing, that their unit, their company, their battalion, their brigade, and their whole division would have been locked down. We're gonna go with a weapon. If any form of weapon would have been missing, guess what? Everything would have been locked down. Nobody would have been going home. They would have been trying to figure out what the hell was going on. But Rob, what happens? Everybody goes AWOL all the time. Yes, everybody does go AWOL. But guess what? Within that AWOL, most of those soldiers have had contact. And everybody's missing that kind of form. You might not know where your soldier is, but they've known, hey, go F you, Sergeant. I'm not coming back. You guys have had no positive contact. You guys didn't even do a barracks check, from what I understand, for the first 12 hours until COB. Let me tell you, Joe, if I was an NCO still, and my first sergeant or my platoon sergeant, my next line supervisor, would have known I had a soldier that was failure to report, and I didn't go check that barracks room because she was a single soldier, which means she had a barracks room, I would have been standing on that red carpet in front of my sergeant major, getting my ass chewed and probably being bumped down and wonder. So, not to mention she was also apparently murdered or whatever in the arms room. Can we talk about the arms room? The arms room. The arms room is a very, very secure, probably the most secured area in a company's, the most secured area in a company's area, right? In a company's area of operation. There's only 3 people in the company, maybe 4 if you have an alternate, that have access to that arms room. That's your commander, that's your XO, and that's your armor person. And maybe if you have an alternate. Other than those 3 people, there's 2 other people that have access to that arms room. And not even access, just have a key, because it's like a 4-process system. It's worse than getting into the Federal Reserve. You got to have a key to unlock a gate. Then you have to have a key to unlock a double door that has a code to it that you only know that goes on rotation. Then you got to have another key to open up the other door inside that. So this guy had access to the arms room. And by the way, if you're not an armorer, you're not supposed to be in there. There's a memorandum posted all over there. So once again, people in the arms room that's not supposed to be there. And then also the staff duty, that it's a 24-hour watch. So those other 2 people that I just mentioned, none of them actually did their hourly checks after COB. COB close of business, usually around 6:30 for you non-military folks. I lied. Matter of fact, I'm thinking 16:30, 4:30, between 4:30 and 5. Between that, every hour until somebody comes in, the sergeant major or the BC comes in the next morning, that every arms room in that battalion gets checked. So from 5 to 8:30, nobody checked. Nobody seen nothing was suspicious. So between all that, it's just sick. And then come to find out that Vanessa has made multiple sharp complaints against her leadership. And not just one leader, multiple leaders. And guess where those complaints went? Nowhere further than her squad leader. So if we're going to kind of put into play kind of, for civilians, at a job, you have a certain department. You have a company and you have departments. Within those departments, you have certain managers and maybe some team leaders in that aspect. So it comes downhill. She had a complaint against her squad leader, which was her next to direct line. So her team leader, then her squad leader. She couldn't trust her squad leader because her team leader was giving her sexual assault, was sexually assaulting and harassing her. So if she didn't even trust that, she couldn't even trust the sharp NCO, which is usually a female. Just like the EO, the equal opportunity NCO is usually a black female or a black person. Usually Sharp is usually a female. So she couldn't even go to that Sharp representative. So what's wrong with that unit? I'll tell you what's wrong with that unit and what's wrong with every unit in the military. The male freaking ego and the nastiness of the male soldier. It come to find out, Vanessa didn't feel comfortable. She's had multiple situations. Not only does Vanessa, but a lot of other females in there. So you know how we have these situations and how we know we have these situations, Joe? Every Friday, every Monday and every Friday, we have what we call safety briefs. They kind of give us a safety, you know what I mean? Friday says, don't do bad things, make smart decisions. You hear that every Friday. Don't beat your wife, don't beat your dog. Literally, they will say, don't beat your dog.
Yikes.
Look out for your battle buddies. If you're in the barracks, check on somebody. You hear this every Friday. If you're under the age of 21, don't go drinking. Don't drink and drive if you are. Don't do drugs. So where for weeks on end, where was Vanessa's battle buddy? Where was Vanessa's roommate? Where was your safety brief trying to figure out where the hell everybody is? But everybody's just having a safety brief like everything's, oh, Vanessa's gone. She's just AWOL. Apparently, the platoon sergeant and the first sergeant didn't know anything about these sexual allegations, which I call bullshit, because you only have two situations when it comes to reporting sexual assault, sexual harassment. You have unrestricted and restricted. And if anybody looks into the Army Sharp program, you'll see that restricted is pretty nasty and is pretty the savior for the good boy system. Restricted says me and you talked pretty much to summarize it in a confidential area with a mediator, and there's going to be I can't do anything further if I feel outside of this. So if me and you will just use you and I, say I touch you the wrong way, Joe, you sit there and report to somebody, we take this report, right? And you sit in this room with a mediator. All right. Joe says he didn't appreciate the way you touched him, Rob. Okay, I'm sorry, Joe. This is restricted. You know, you say you wanted a restricted report. I'm a smirk asshole like the bigot I know, Duncan, and we're gonna talk about his bigotry too. Because guess what? This is my podcast, and I can do that, Mr. McPherson. But if you say you're restricted, and I sit there and give you a smug answer like you don't have any proof, you don't have the evidence. Now I've made you feel uncomfortable. But guess what? This is a restricted report. You can't further pursue it. Tell me the fairness in that.
And it sounds like a whole system failure here.
Like
big time.
Let's bring up the system of failure so everybody knows I'm not playing. And I'm speaking, and I don't even know people like this, but super transparent, fair, and impartial. And I'd rather me tell it than somebody else try and bring it up and bring it in the comments. I had a false accusation. And when I say false accusation, it's in my documentation. When I was a young soldier, me and this young lady, and I still sympathize for her to this day. We didn't even do anything. We kissed in the back room. Her friend walked in. I didn't know she was married.
Ooh.
I'm so glad, one, I had the text messages. I kept everything. And two, so we leave this party, and I'm a young soldier. I'm not realizing that pretty much if a female is on post, or if a male, or if anybody's on post and they say, oh yeah, I live off post or whatever, they're probably married. Well, they're definitely married. They're married if they're not a service member. And if they're a service member and they live off post and they're not above a certain rank, then they're married. But here I am, little old PFC Dunlap. Meet somebody, we go in the back room, we're making out, sitting on a bed. Remind you, sitting on a bed. Her friend walks in, oh my God, let's go. All right, whatever. Going about my day. Text, 3 days of consecutive texting. Oh, we gotta hang out. We gotta Ghost. 2 weeks. Oh, okay, whatever. Guess what? I get a trip from CID. If anybody doesn't know, Central Intelligence Division. And when they come see you, it's like the feds. It's no fun. And if anybody knows about military sexual harassment or sexual assault allegations, you are guilty until proven innocent. So come to find out, do you know this young lady? Yeah, that's so-and-so. Oh, okay. Well, she says you sexually assaulted her at a party. Well, that's weird because here's my phone. Well, did you guys da-da-da-da-da? Yeah. Did you guys kiss? Yeah. Did you touch her back under her shirt? Yes, I did. Consensually. Because anybody that knows me knows I am the king. I was raised that way. I will before me and you, my girlfriend would tell you, she made the first move. And I said, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because that's how I was raised by women, Joe. I was raised by women. So luckily I had my phone and, and there was a text that said, I hope things didn't move crazy and, and I'm whatever, but maybe we can see how things go from later. Oh, no problem. She just did it. She was ready to go. And I had that, but luckily, and I don't even see how they missed over that. So anyways, come to find out, long story short, her husband came home from a training exercise and found her phone. She didn't have text messages, but I did. And I said, that doesn't kind of strike you guys, So for 48 hours, I'm stressing. Like everybody's like, yo, this dude Dunlap, he's fucking weird. You know what I'm saying? He ain't right. So for 48 hours, I'm stressing with a false accusation. Come to find out, he saw text messages. She never told me that she was married. Boom. Well, he was forcing her. Well, you better say this. So that all comes to light. So just so everybody understands where I'm coming from with this. I sympathize. And still to this day, my accuser, because yes, she was an accuser. And I still have a firm belief that if you falsely accuse somebody, there should be some time. Because that reputation, when I got to Georgia, kind of carried on. So I'm familiar with this, just to say the least, so everybody understands. And then to hear Lt Col Betsy Schoeller, right? And I will sit there and say this, from apparently in the past 24 hours, I've gotten reports that she apparently was misquoted. But I will say that if you're going to say you guys are kidding, right? Sexual harassment as the price of admission for women into the good old boy club, that better not just stop there. You better have a full 2 paragraphs that explains what you're talking about. Because I, as a military veteran, I can tell you what she's talking about. The good boy club is very highly real in the U.S. Army, from what I know, from what I've experienced. And I'll be the first one to sit there and say, I did not combat every situation that I should have. Sitting there smoking at the smoking pit, you would hear guys catcall. Even my eyes would wander once in a while. And it was not right. It was nasty. It was disgusting. But for you to just leave that, Lieutenant Colonel, for you just to leave it at that, that was very immature, very irresponsible. And to delete and not give further context only until a group of people decide to go ahead and fill out a petition to get you out of there, out of your position at wherever you're teaching at. As a female woman in the military, you don't think that would hurt every female soldier that has probably had some kind of sexual harassment, sexual assault allegation towards, or sexual situation towards them issue? That shit is traumatizing, dog. Do you not realize that women every day have to go through these situations? And for you to even word that and sit there and say, well, it was a private comment in a private page. No, when does morals and ethics ever relate to anybody? That's my same issue with Duncan's smart ass, his sexist ass. How are you going to sit there and say, oh, if you don't have the evidence, did it really happen? I was ready to throw my phone through everything when he said that, Joe. And for anybody
that got mad, you definitely got angry. I could sense that.
For anybody,
I definitely scolded him on that because that was definitely. First of all, it's not true. if you level a sexual assault allegation, the person is going to be arrested immediately.
Exactly. Immediately.
And it does become a guilty until proven innocent situation. And as I say all the time, Rob, when you're falsely accused, the evidence will bear out that you were falsely accused. It almost always does. Time and time again, we've seen that. So, I know a lot of people want to make a big deal about false accusations, like roughly 3.5% of all claims are false. Mm-hmm. It's like complaining about fraudulent mail-in balloting. It's such a minute problem that it's just people trying to take advantage.
Exactly. And it's so it irritates me because it just shows that, and I don't know if it's just people really don't have the morality or just the thought process, or not thought process, but the kind-heartedness to sit there and say, at least let me listen. And it has to be facts. It has to, like, when did we be so stuck into a book that because it's not on paper and it's not between these parameters, it's super disgusting. And like I was gonna say, anybody that's unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, as far as when I reference Done Can't, check us out. Divided We Stand. That's another Clovercrest Media Group podcast that I frequently guest. But one of the hosts there said some very sexist, nasty remarks, and I'm so glad that Victoria and Joe was there to correct him right away, because if I could have reached through that phone, and I meant it, and I mean it to this day, if I smack the shit out of Duncan and he doesn't have any evidence, is it assault? And I asked that to you, Duncan, is it assault? Because you blocked me and then I blocked your ass back. So whatever, F you. I'll piss you off shortly too. But getting out of that, back to the nastiness, it was just very ignorant of her to even have served in the time of another murder that I remember now, in 2005, that I want to bring up, PFC Johnson, Lavina Johnson. This was back in 2005, where she was found in Bangladesh, and her body was found in a tent with evidence of rape, bloody footprints outside her living quarters, corrosive chemicals on her genitalia, gunshot wounds. And what everybody said was the gunshot wound was inconsistent with suicide, and that's what they ruled it as, a suicide. And the parents were going with that until they actually got to the burial and the funeral and saw the body and realized that these scars, these bruises, these chemical burns do not add up to suicide. So when we look at women like PFC Johnson, when we look at PFC Guillen, when we look at these women, veterans and active duty to this day, because I'm sure it hasn't stopped, for her to say those kind of statements and have that kind of disregard to her future battle buddies and her battle buddies, whether they're enlisted or unenlisted, is sick and nasty. And I want everybody to sit there and just, even if you don't want to protest, I'm not saying protest, because honestly, I'm sick of protesting. I'm more about action. Let's make action happen. Let's pull up Lavina Johnson's records. Let's pull up Vanessa Guillen. I'm so glad they were able to prove that the remains were Vanessa's. And let's keep fighting. Let's not stop fighting for these women, and let's not stop fighting for any women that are dealing with these issues. And I'll be the first one to say, if I ever offended a woman by being drunk at a club, and this is no excuse, or saying something inappropriately, I know I haven't touched anybody because I like to keep my hands to my freaking self. But if I ever offended any woman, I apologize from my heart, because without me acknowledging and holding myself accountable, I can't do that for others. And I really want to, Joe. Hopefully we can make this happen. We can get a podcast going with some active and some veteran women, because I want to advocate and I want to empower these women to get on live, share their experiences, and let's really dig down and talk about this. And I'm so glad. Thanks for putting that up. That's right there. Lavina Johnson, PFC Lavina Johnson, that was murdered and massacred in Balad, Iraq. Only 19 years old, 2005, July 19th. All right. So I usually I was trying to think of something fun to end this with, and I want to leave on a night note, but with everything going on, I want everybody to kind of weigh in on this, because this is going to be a topic that I definitely am going to keep talking about for the future to come. Let's not forget, rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Let's not forget all those that have lost their lives due to the countless murders of Black men. But then also, I'll piss you off shortly, because Black men, we have to start taking accountability for ourselves. Black people, we have to start taking accountability for ourselves. We can't want change. We can't want change from other people and not want to make change for ourselves. We can't talk about we want to be treated in different communities when we treat our own communities like shit. We can't sit there and say we want to get out the projects, but the projects look like the slums. The projects were never meant to be a permanent solution. We have to want better for ourselves. I understand that there's a different way of life for everybody, and I understand that there's a struggle. But we have to be the ones that change. Get out there and mentor. If you see something, say something. Everybody. We can't that snitching shit is not cool for the young people that's listening. That no stitching shit is not cool, but also at the same time, don't live a life. Well, falsify living a life that you really don't want to pay the consequences for. And I'll tell you this right now, for those kids that want to act like it's cool, and those young adults that want to act like it's cool to be funny and troll and think that racism is funny and something to troll about, it's not. Because as you guys will look and see, this isn't the old days. People aren't playing around. Black hypersensitivity is real, and white fear is real, y'all. At some point, we have to learn how to combat both of those. I want everybody to figure out between next week how we can do that. What can we do to focus and secure our energy into something positive? How can we listen? How can we worry about ourselves other than everybody else? Focus on building ourselves, making ourselves a better person, better society, better country. Because right now, we suck. We're being led by a clown, and that clown is leading a bunch of other clowns from the left or the right. So where do we meet in the middle? Hey, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I hope the best for everybody. This has been an amazing podcast, Joe. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
I slayed it, man. It was great. It was great.
Oh, I don't know where that little monologue came from, but I saw that I had a little bit of extra time, even though I'm over. I know we said we're gonna do an hour, but from my portion, I said, oh, I got a couple more minutes. I estimated about $1:15. But hey, man, if you guys like this podcast, I'm Rob Benjamin. Make sure you guys subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's Apple Music Podcast, Spotify, or even Clovercrest Media, where you should be going, clovercrestmedia.com. Go ahead, subscribe that. You can catch all of your I'll piss you off shortly podcast information at I'll piss you off shortly on Facebook and Instagram. Go ahead, get my followers up. You guys see that I only have no followers. I think I'm up to 2 now. But go ahead, share this, not spam it, but share this, get the word out. If you like what I was talking about, if you didn't like what I was talking about, that's cool. www.I'llPissYouOffShortly.com or www.clanhunter.com. As we see, we got our Hack 2020 classic merch right there. His America Crumbled. That's up and popping right there. Joe's showing you we got all of our merch going on, and you'll see our blogs. Those are my blogs from my words to your eyes. I touch pretty much everything that I'm talking on I'll piss you off shortly. It's kind of like a preface to what we're going to be getting into in the week. Check me out live. Check us out live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. To stay up to date, receive all access invitations to special content. Be sure to turn on all notifications on all major platforms. Remember, I'll Piss You Off Shortly podcast live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Let me know if you guys like this. I think I'm really feeling this a little bit. It feels good. I don't know. Does it feel good to you, Joe?
This feels like it could definitely be a thing. I'm
Cool.
thinking every Tuesday.
I'm
9
thinking,
o'clock.
hey, every Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Hey, you guys know, I think we're going to try and do some YouTube as well, you know, so try and mix it up, not mix it up, but broaden where you guys can find us at. But for right now, you know, Facebook, Instagram, clovercrestmedia.com, and then, you know, all the rest will come soon to follow. Hey, let me know how you guys like the episode. Give me some thumbs up, give me some thumbs down, some shock emojis. I'm an emoji guy. But over and all, from all of us here over at Clovercrest Media Group, I apologize. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll piss you off shortly. I'm Rob Benjamin. Peace. Good night.
Kane is in the building.
Oh.